And I think one of the first things that we did, he put me on the phone with Chris Lighty.
Oh, Chris Lighty.
R.I.P. Busta Rhymes, 50 Cent's first manager, and he used to manage Busta Rhymes. And yeah, we were gonna bring Busta to Botswana. I took that shit to KBL. Super flopped on it because I don't know. Sometimes the Negroes are a bit weird. Like you tell them you can do something, and then they will say, like he was like, "Oh, well, can you get?" No, what did he say? I was like, "Look, I can't get Busta. Let's bring Busta." He's like, "No, let's bring someone else." I was like, "Well, who do you want?" T-Pain, and then.
Yo, Stagga!
What up?
What's happening?
How you doing, my brother?
Chilling, bro. Welcome back to the 20th Avenue podcast.
Thanks for having me back again.
Yeah. So this time around, we're not talking much about music or about Stagga.
We'll talk about music, but not about my music.
Not about your music. Yeah. We're talking about the documentary.
Yes, sir.
The Nijel Amos documentary.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Tell us about it, bro. Like, at which stage are you at now?
So, it's been an ongoing process of about it's actually 4 years now. We actually started shooting it at the very end of 2019.
Okay.
When I came for a film festival. I was invited by MySec to speak at a film festival.
Yeah.
And we'd been toying with the idea for like a couple of years before that. And then we spoke to Nigel. Nigel was cool with it. I only met Nigel in 2019.
Okay.
So I kind of had been talking about him to my partner, Carlos, my business partner, from about 2012.
Yeah.
I pitched the idea to shoot the documentary to a friend of mine who knows him. And then he introduced me to him. Yeah. So I had a friend who was at Sports Council and he knew Nigel, a guy called Tato. So he basically pitched the idea to him. Then I met Nigel in 2019 and he said, cool, let's do it.
Yeah.
He actually had an offer to do one from a Korean company for the road to the Olympics.
Okay.
And he said he had the contract, but he never signed it. So
yeah,
God was working that day.
Yeah. So where does this come from? Because we know Stagga is a rapper, but now you're a film producer.
Well, really, if you look at it, rapping is a form of storytelling.
Yeah.
So it's just telling a story.
Yeah.
And I just felt that his story needed to be told. And like, it's a bit weird because the first documentary I wanted to do was Dan Chanda.
Yeah. And
I managed to meet him through a school friend of mine who got a Kobe Dumano. So she's his wife's cousin. So I always used to talk about him and talk about, his music and stuff like that. And she said, oh, he's coming. Do you want to meet him? He's coming to Gabs. I said, yeah, sure. I actually want to meet him and tell him that I want to make a documentary about him. So I think she told him and he came to my office. I was shocked because he was like, okay, I'll come. So he came to my office and I only met him once, but like the day that I met him, I'd seen him, like everybody had seen him, I heard of him.
Yeah.
But like when I sat down and I met him, it was like, yeah, you could tell he's a different breed, cut from a different cloth. And like, everything about him said success. Like, you can tell, they say you can tell a lot about a man by his shoes. And they look like some $5,000 shoes or something. Yeah. But he wasn't like flashy, but he looked like a very successful entrepreneur. He is. He was. And yeah, I said to him, look, I want to make a documentary about you. And he said, why? I said, well, I want to know what you were on in the 80s where you could sit down and, look at the white man's face and say no. And remember, this is apartheid South Africa. Yeah. So to sit down in an office, at a time when you needed passes to be in certain parts of Joburg, like, there's parts of South Africa you couldn't go. I mean, I remember seeing that when I came in 84 to Botswana and I flew into South Africa, I flew into Jan Smuts Airport. So I saw the signs, I was 7. So I saw the signs like, Europeans only, that type of shit. So I said, how did you have the balls at that time when there was a state of emergency and some black people were afraid to look white people in the eye? Like, how did you have the balls to tell them, no, this is my IP, it's my masters, my company, it's my shit. So he laughed. I said, no, I'm serious. I want you to teach me that Kung Fu. And he just started laughing. And he goes, all right, I will teach you. And he goes, no one's ever asked to make a documentary about me. I said, you serious? He said, yeah, I'm just as surprised as you. I said, no one from SABC? He said, nobody.
Yeah.
And he said he always wanted a documentary about his life. And he said, that's been my lifelong dream. I'll do it. And then he even said to me, then he started telling me about his life and how he grew up and how he didn't go to school for music, didn't go to school for business, but he learned everything on the job. And then he said, even publishing, he was telling me about publishing and how publishing works. And he goes, I didn't learn any of this in school. I learned it on the job, just, by being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And he goes, I'll teach you. I'm going to teach you everything about the publishing game. And me, him, and Busta formed a company, a publishing company, which is still active.
Okay.
And he was going to basically teach me the ins and outs of publishing, throw in some catalog, and we were going to buy up a whole lot of publishing. Then he died.
Oh.
So his wife in 2019 was in town, and around the same time that I did the film festival. Yeah. So we met up with her at Avani, me, Carlos, Busta, and she said, look, this was my husband's, one of his last wishes. Yeah. Like he wanted a documentary. So I'm here to pledge support, whatever you need, whether it's music, footage. And I said, dope. So at that time, we'd already spoken to Nijel, and we basically shot just the trailer, like literally just like a very small shoot. And then I said, look, after I finish this Nijel documentary, I'll do the Dan Chanda one. Yeah. And she was very, very patient with me, as was Nijel, because I thought his story would be ready by the Olympics. Yeah. Then COVID happened. Then, we couldn't travel. I did a shoot, it ended up being fucked. And, I couldn't use any of the footage. Then I said, you know what?
For the Nijel Amos documentary?
Yeah. So like the first shoot that I did, spent a lot of money on it, and it just...
Is it the time when you came to Botswana?
No. So before I came to Botswana, I sent somebody up there to do a shoot, and they just did a shit job. And, I said, nah, I need to do this myself. So Carlos and I then came to Botswana. Then we reshot everything that they had done. So we had to go back to... Basically, the first person who went up there and he interviewed Nigel's mom, grandmother, in English, and just all kinds of crazy shit.
Who was the film guy?
I'm not gonna say. Don't have to throw anyone under the bus, but they tried, but it wasn't. I want to win an award with this. Yeah. So it wasn't anything that was going to win any awards. It was not anything that anyone's going to be proud of. Even technically, it was just shit.
So the second time when you went there with Apollo was speaking in Kalang, like...
Yes. So, as they say, when you want to do something properly, you need to do it yourself. So I was like, you know what, I can't send people money and think they're going to do a good job. I need to be there. Yeah. I need to, do the quality control and all that type of shit. So we did. Came to Botswana, we spent like 2 weeks, or it was a while. Like we went up there and shot. We went all the way up to Marabella, met his parents. We interviewed everybody but the cats and the dogs. We literally did everybody, family, friends, first coach, teacher, his school. Because we want to get an essence of who he is as a person. And I really feel, I'm actually glad that this took the 4 years and it didn't take a few months like I thought it would, because so much has happened. We had COVID, we had the fucking, what's it called? The Olympics. Yeah. And like, if we had gone to the Olympics, for example, we would have gone to Tokyo and not been able to see him because there was the COVID restrictions.
Yeah, there were COVID restrictions.
So we would have literally just gone there to watch it from the hotel, because like there was a period where they thought fans were going to be allowed in, and then they said no fans. So it ended up it would have been a washout if we'd gone. So luckily we went to Monaco just before that. So this is like in the June of of the year of the Olympics. So we went to Monaco, and I saw him run in Monaco. And he said to me, he loves Monaco because he's never lost there. Every time he's raced, he's always won. And like Marabella Nijel is different from Monaco Nijel. Like he's the same person, but when you see him moving in a place like that with that type of energy, yes, it was good. It was good. I'm glad I went out there. So we shot in Monaco, we shot in Italy, LA, New York, Marabella. Botswana. The only place we haven't shot is probably SA. Okay. But we've shot in like maybe 9 different locations.
So the shooting is still on?
Not really. So we, it's like with documentaries you can keep shooting forever. Yeah. But the only thing that we're gonna put in is a reenactment scene. So he doesn't remember like things like his mom, you know, and a lot of things of his life because he was young. He lost his parents when he was young.
Okay.
And there's just some things that we feel that it would be better if we got like make it like a dramatization. So get actors, shoot like a mini movie. Yeah, so it's not just interviews, you know. And we're gonna do the same for Dan Chanda, but Dan Chanda's life is a bit more like action packed. Nigel's is action packed as well, but like Dan Chanda's lived like 10 lives.
From the apartheid era to...
You know what I mean? Like the things that he did. So I think it deserves like a little mini movie type of thing.
Like the Mendoza biopic.
I've never watched that.
Yeah, it's a series, like it's about, a season's about 12 episodes.
I haven't seen it. I need to watch it.
Yeah, you should check it out on BT.
Okay, no, I should watch that.
Yeah,
so that's the vision. And like, you know, we started shooting Dan Chanda 2 weeks ago. We went to, we went to Joburg, went to Soweto. I met the original members of Splash.
Yeah.
So for me, it was great. They even said, look, thank you guys for doing this because we haven't seen each other. And some of them is 15, 20 years they haven't seen each other, the original members. So it's good because it kind of brought the original band members together. And it kind of reminds people, especially when you've done something great and maybe you're not as close as you are to the people you did it with.
Yeah.
You kind of forget that you were involved or part of something great. So it's good to kind of bring those feelings out.
So tell me something. Like with most people into film, they struggle with sponsorship, like for such projects. Because you're talking of going to Monaco, going to the Olympics, going to Soweto, putting Splash members together. Like this is money. Are you using money from your own pocket?
Yes, sir.
It's money from your own pocket.
Yeah. Like I've been bleeding for the last 4 years. I've been hemorrhaging money. For the last 4 years. Look, filmmaking is very difficult. It's easier to make albums because you get advances. You know, there's so many different ways you can make an album and it's not that expensive, especially now. Making a movie is very expensive. I mean, just the logistics. You know, you have a crew, you have to feed them. I mean, you know, I've bought a lot of food I didn't eat. Paid for beds I didn't sleep in, you know, cars I never drove. It's very expensive, and you have to be able to stick it out as well because we've done this with no contributions from anybody. So we did try. Like at the beginning, we were like, okay, we're gonna shoot a trailer, and then that would be good enough to raise capital. So we thought, nah. So we, you know. It's funny as well because when you get to the end of a project, people want to give you money, but you don't need it then. You know, you need the money to actually make the project. So
execution purposes.
Yeah. So you know, like you said, I mean, Monaco's not a cheap place to be. You know, and it was expensive, but it's worth it because I think the content is crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So when should we expect the documentary?
August.
This August?
Yeah. New Capital Cinemas is going to partner with us to launch it. We're going to have premieres in Gabs, in the embassies in Botswana are going to partner with us to have premieres outside of the country as well. Yeah, we want to make it like some nice red carpet shit. We've got Lamar Rucker who's going to narrate it from Tyler Perry movies like Why Did I Get Married and Why Did I Get Married 2. The ladies are going to love that. You know, you know, you have to bring the stars out. I mean, my partner Carlos Pimentel, entertainment lawyer, 25 years in the game. DJ Khaled's first lawyer. Used to manage the Beatnuts. He's got, you know, big pun plaques.
How would you get involved with these guys? How would you partner with them? With Carlos and what's his name?
Larry Campbell.
Larry Campbell, yeah. Because these are outshoots, bro.
Yeah, I mean, Larry Campbell, musical director, 200 million records sold, 7-time Grammy nominated. Deborah Cox, Aretha Franklin, Missy Elliott, Beyonce, Britney Spears, R. Kelly, 50 Cent, Tupac. The man was giving us Tupac stories. You know, telling us about things that we would never be able to you know, experience or know about. And you know, like with everything else, you just have to know people. So fortunately, this actually all came about through my dad, because my dad is an artist. He's into modern art. One of his friends was a singer. He's late now. He died like just in the last 2 years. Good guy called Raouf Adu. He had a group called Osibisa, and he had some hits in the UK and Europe in the 80s. So he was always cool with me, he always liked me. And I actually rapped on a couple of, like he dropped some music later on and I rapped on a couple of his stuff like in the mid-2000s. This is when I was back in England. He was actually the first person who I worked with where I rapped on a Neve board. Anybody who's a producer will know what a Neve board is. Or if you don't, Google it. It's like on the same level as a SSL, solid state logic. So it's like a proper mixing desk. You know, like it's about £400,000 or £500,000. So it's like real equipment. You know the shit that they do albums that win Grammys on? They mix them on them kind of boards.
Not the laptop thing.
Not this bedroom bullshit. Like just like real mixing boards. So he always used to say to me, you need to meet Carlos. There's this guy who, so his manager was managing a band with Carlos, a band called 12 Dirty Bullets. So he said, you need to meet Carlos. He manages 12 Dirty with his other manager, Chris. And one day he said, look, he's coming to London. Do you want to meet him? I think you guys will get along. I said, cool. I used to call him Brother A. I said, no problem, Brother A, let me meet him. Met Carlos was in London. I think he was coming to get someone on an Arsenal trial, if I'm not mistaken. Because he was doing sports management at the time. And I met him, we clicked, to tell him about all the people he worked with and what he's done. And I think one of the first things that we did, he put me on the phone with Chris Lighty.
Chris Lighty,
R.I.P. Busta Rhymes, 50 Cent's first manager, and he used to manage Busta Rhymes. And we were going to bring Busta to Botswana. I took that shit to KBL. Sisupo flopped on it, because, I don't know, sometimes Negros are a bit weird. Like, you tell them you can do something, and then they'll say, like, he was like, oh, well, can you get, no, what did he say? I was like, look, I can't get Busta, let's bring Busta. He's like, no, let's bring someone else. I was like, well, who do you want? T-Pain. And then when I said, all right, I can get him too, he was like, no, I want real. So he was just moving the goalposts, because I don't think he thought that I could do it, but I did. So anyway, they flopped on that. And yeah, there was a couple of moves that I made with him that were music related, but in terms of gigs. And then eventually, you know, we just kept working out throughout. I mean, this is like, I met him in 2010. So it took a while before we found something that gelled, and then we did, and then we just ran with it, you know?
All right.
But he introduced me to Larry. So I met Larry probably a couple of years after I met him. Like the second time he came to England.
These are big names that you're talking about, bro.
Yeah.
So we were expecting the project to be big goals.
Oh, for sure. I wouldn't do it if it's not going to be big.
Is corporate Botswana coming through if you approach them?
Yeah, we'll approach everybody.
You've approached them?
Everybody.
And what's the response?
Crickets. Everyone that you can think of, we approached.
So they're coming on board?
No, nobody came on board.
But no one came on board?
And this is part of the problem. You know, there's only one Olympic silver medalist in this country.
It's not true.
No.
Like that relating me about
one.
Oh, you mean like as a sort
That was a team and they won a bronze. He is the only person with a single medal. Especially a silver. You know? And imagine, Botswana first qualified for the Olympics in '82. So it was in 2012. If somebody came in and said, if you don't have a silver medal, sit down, the whole fucking country would have to sit down.
Except for one person.
Exactly. And where do you see that? Have you seen, is there a Nijel Amos training facility? Is there a Nijel Amos stadium? Do you see any statues of Nijel Amos? Have you seen a billboard? Did you see a double page spread in any of the papers? Did any company say, hey, let's make him the face of whatever? You know what I mean? And I say this all the time. If he was in England, he would be knighted. Sebastian Coe ran the same time as Nijel Amos. He was knighted. He became Sir Sebastian Coe. That's a record that still stands to this day in England. Nigel's one of only 5 people that's run that time in history. If he was from Britain, he'd be knighted. Because Sebastian Coe is now Lord Coe for doing exactly what Nigel did. If he was from America, he'd be living somewhere in Calabasas with probably 2 ex-wives, a movie, you know, a couple of... He'd be on cereal boxes if he was in America. We know this. But the niggas in Botswana. Where people just... I don't know whether it's the whole fake humility thing that Botswana think they show, because I think it's fake because it's not real. It's not... It's kind of like... It's disrespectful. It's like, get Nigeria. You know what I mean? Like, people try and downplay success. There's nobody else in the country that has a silver medal. I'm not saying that people should suck his dick wherever he goes, but he should get his props. You know what I mean? It's a difficult thing to do. look at the fact that 1982, 2012, we're in 2024.
Yeah.
We're talking about something that happened 12 years ago. Who has done it since?
No one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When I saw him run in Monaco, he ran maybe a second off of his personal best. That was 2012 to 2021. That's a 10-year stretch. There's guys that can't still look. There's a lot of things that I can't do that I used to be able to do. I used to be able to go. I could drink the whole weekend 10 years ago. 20 years ago, I can't do that. Now I'm old. You know. So the fact that he can still perform at that level. There's men that can't satisfy their wives like they could 10 years ago. If we're keeping it real, you know what I mean. So people really downplay that shit, and it annoys me. And this is why I got pissed when they said, "Oh, sell the medal, sell the medal." How can you sell a piece of history? Someone's gonna buy that medal and then fucking put it in a museum, and people are gonna. It's the stupidest shit I ever heard. Sell the medal. It's not a medal. It's an artifact.
It's an artifact.
You know, it's not just a piece of metal. It's a symbol. It's that should be something that should be in the National Museum. It should go on tours. It should be going around the country. He should be on speaking tours around the country with that medal, where kids can see it and touch it. Where else are they going to see an Olympic silver medal? Nowhere. You know what I mean? You shouldn't have kids walking around with Spider-Man backpacks and all that type of shit. There should be kids with Nijel Amos backpacks. You know?
Don't you think maybe his reputation, like his social reputation, maybe?
Yeah, but this is why we did the documentary, because a lot of that stuff, like for example, he touches on that, like, you know, oh, why did you want to be a DJ? He didn't want to be a DJ. When he got injured, you motherfuckers left him. Nobody was there. The only people that stood by him was Nike. He told me, he said, listen, you think I wanted to be a DJ? I'm an athlete. I didn't want to be out there. I had rent to pay. You know, I had bills. I went to Montreal and I saw, you know, like the average person who's successful, and this is anywhere in the world, especially in Botswana, people feel entitled. So let's say you're the most successful person in your family. Other family members feel that you have to pay for everything. If someone dies, you got to do it. If there's an emergency, you have to take care of everybody. And that's fuckery. Because at the end of the day, every man needs to just look out for themselves and be able to take care of themselves. I don't think that you should be a burden on a person just because you feel entitled to their money. Now imagine, it's not just a family, it's a whole village that's looking up to him to kind of bring, you know, to make shit happen for them. So he's under a lot of strain, and he's been under a lot of strain since the age of 18.
Taking you off the whole...
Yes, imagine he didn't have any kids, but everybody expected him to be taking care of them. And you can't go from being unknown and running at school, and then 6 months later you win an Olympic medal and then not expect that to affect you. You know, I have a friend, Caesar Gilman. He says people think therapy is for when your life is going bad. It's not. It's for when shit goes good as well. He said, I go to therapy when I get money, so that I don't lose my mind. You know what I mean? And that's something that people don't really look at things like that. To say, shit, you know what? If I got this tender that I've been trying to get, or these millions that I've been trying to make, how would it affect me? Maybe I need therapy so that I can handle the success when I get it and it doesn't go to my head or fuck me up. Because money can kill people. Like if I gave certain people who didn't have their head right $1 million today, someone would die tomorrow. Either of alcohol poisoning, or, you know, you could kill people. You give certain kids who are reckless money, or like even a car. People are gonna die. You know, because
we've seen it happen actually. Some of our
we see it every day. You know, it's success is something that is difficult to handle. And
nature was once involved in accidents.
Look, as was I. You know, it's like I've written off 4 Beamers, you know, and a Benz
in 1 year.
Not in a year, but like in a very short period of time. You know, and like I'm saying, like it's success is something that you have to process. It's a bit like failure. You have to digest that shit before you can actually, you know, not let it fuck you up. So it's the same. I think, you know, he talks about all of those things that happened. And, you know, one thing I asked him, I said, what do you not want me to put in this documentary? And he said, nothing. Put everything. Talk about everything. There's nothing that's off limits. And I said, okay, that's cool. The only thing that I have not, and I will not talk about, is his relationship with Sasa. Because she's late, you know, and that's out of respect for her. I knew Sasa. So out of respect,
you guys also like featured on DJ Fall's song.
Yeah, but I knew Sasa before she rapped. You know, and I knew her from when she was about 15. I featured on the song with her. But you know, out of respect, if she was alive,
Yeah.
then I would have interviewed her and interviewed him because it's nice, it's drama. We want to know the ins and outs. But nah, she's late, so I would never do that. I would never talk about. We would never talk about her in any kind of disparaging way, make any comments about her like that. So that's the only thing I'm not going to put in there.
Okay, no.
But everything else, you know, the suspension, we talk about that.
The doping.
Everything.
Yeah. It's all right.
It's part of the story.
It's a jam-packed documentary.
Well, this is it.
Yeah. Speaking of documentaries and local icons, how come we don't have, bro, we have a lot of stories to tell, like Botswana stories, by Botswana, for Botswana.
Yes.
But I think this is one of the first documentaries, like one of the first.
Documentaries are difficult to make.
I know they're difficult to make.
You need to have a good idea as well.
But look, how old is the country now? It's what, 58?
It's young.
Bro, we need to know like how those songs were recorded back in the day.
You know, there's so many things that you could make documentaries about, but I think for me, it's natural because I like history.
Yeah.
So history was like my favorite subject at school.
Yeah.
And I like to know about the history of things.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter what it is. You know, I like to learn and I like to delve into the past and find out why things happened or why things are the way that they are. So for me, it's interesting. You know, so I think you need to be interested in that type of shit. Otherwise, you're not going to make a good documentary.
But I feel like there's a lot of stories that haven't been told that are due to be told, like Botswana stories.
100%. But who's got the patience? And again, like you mentioned, who can pour money into something for 4 years and not give up? There's very few people that can do that.
It's Stagga.
Look, you know, it's like I said, I did it because I like this. And like, let's say this didn't work. I wouldn't have any regrets.
Yeah.
But it is working. But there was a period where I thought, fuck, what if this doesn't work?
Yeah.
Because like, you know, you put so many things on the line. Your reputation, someone else's reputation, your integrity, you know, all kinds of shit. And it's like, you say to yourself, if this doesn't work, actually, I never really thought if it doesn't work. There were times during the story where I thought, oh, fuck, how are we gonna, like, okay, for example, when he tripped, I was like, shit. Well, I guess that's it.
Yeah.
And then he was back in the race, then he lost. Bro, when he lost, we were more sad than he was. Like, me and Carlos called me and he's like, yo, I'm here choking up. And he's like, Nijel called me. And he's like, yo, Nijel was counseling us. Like, nah, don't worry, guys. It's going to be okay. And I'm like, nigga, you're the one who dropped us. But we were, like, you know, there was a lot of highs and lows, a lot of drama and suspense. But then there were many times when I thought, maybe, okay, how are we going to end this? Then he got suspended. I was like, fuck. Because the whole point was he was going to end at Paris. So now, and even with that, it was like a false positive.
Yeah.
And the only reason why he couldn't clear his name is for financial reasons. But I don't want to give away too much. You'll see it in the documentary. But you know, the kid really had like a raw deal.
Yeah.
And when you find out the real side of who he is and what happened and the whole story, I mean, there's stuff like he was offered. I'm not going to mention which country because you'll see it in the documentary. But he was offered a lot of money to run for a particular country, and all he had to do was run for. First, they wanted one or two Olympics, like a bag of money, more money than any fucking athlete or rapper has ever seen in this country in one go. You know, in greenbacks as well, not even in Bula, like hard cash. He didn't do it.
For the love of his country.
For the love of the country that doesn't seem to show him any love. See, the only love he gets is, look, it's nice to get love in the street, but bro, we're the corporates. You know, we're the corporates saying, hey, let's back this guy. Or let's do this, or let's do that. There are no corporates doing that. So that's not cool.
So is it late for the corporates to jump on the documentary?
Of course it's not. Hit me up. You know, I mean, it's late to jump onto the production side because we're practically done, but it's never too late to, you know, we're going to do a red carpet. The UN has jumped on board. They're going to buy some tickets. New Capital Cinema, shout out to them, Caroline Desai and Rizwan. Big up to them. You know, they're one of the few people that actually got it and said, yeah, we'll do what we can. You know, they're gonna bring out like a mobile screen so that he can have a premiere in Marobella, because if it's called for Marobella to the world, you have to do a premiere in Marobella. You see what I mean? Like, it would be unfair not to. So, you know, and we even toying with the idea of taking the road show around the country, so that other rural parts can see it as well. Yeah, I mean, I think it's important.
Okay, consider us as your media partner then.
Yes.
Yeah, we're
yes.
in.
Thank you.
So we can't have a Stagga interview and not talk about Stagga, the musician, the rapper, the businessman. First, let's start about Stagga, the malume.
Yeah, I've been getting that a lot. So I was at Main Deck, and shit, it was funny because I'm there with my bro Vish Fash, Seti, who's one of my bros that I went to school with, and we were with the team.
Yeah,
and we're having a really great meeting. Shout outs to Vish. You know, he's one of the people who actually said, "Listen, if you need any assistance, hit me up." You know, and he actually, and it means a lot because I went to school with him. You know, and I know him from school, and he just said, "Look," and just the moral support, just saying that it gives you an encouragement. So I'm sitting there with him and the team, and the young lady who was the waitress, her name is Shati Shatani at Main Deck. She was saying Malume, and I heard her saying Malume, and I was thinking, who is this Malume that she's talking to? So Rich pokes me, he's like, Stagga, she's talking to you. It's like, oh shit. I'm like, okay, yeah, sorry, I wasn't meaning to ignore you. And then, and when I left, she said, can I ask you a personal question? I said, yeah. She goes, are you that uncle that did the song about calling the cops from back in the day? Oh my God, I was like, yes, I am that uncle. I guess I'm now in uncle territory.
Yeah.
I mean, I am. Like, my son's friends call me unks or pops. So I guess I'm there, you know?
Yeah. And the women are loving you, brother, seeing it aging well. They're loving you so much, bro.
You know, it's to my young G, look, I'm a little bit hungover. We went out yesterday with Dez and my man Isaac and the Faded crew. Shout out to Obado, shout out to Dilla, shout out to Nijel. We had quite a good night yesterday at Ayoba. But one thing that you should do is drink water. Drink water before you go to bed and try and drink as much water as you can during the day. Because people think, look, I don't go to the gym. I don't own a gym membership. I've never owned a gym membership. Actually, I did once. I paid for the gym, but I never went. I'm just not. I really wish I was that disciplined to be able to get up in the morning and go to the gym. I do like push-ups sometimes and, you know, pull-ups here and there, but generally it's really about what you eat and what you put into your body. So just try not to, I don't eat sugar, so I try not to eat any sugar at all. And I just try and stay away from junk food. Really, everything in life has to balance. So you can't like eat just fucking cabbage or lettuce all day long, but don't eat like, you know, just junk food all the time. So you have to balance it. I just try to eat healthily. And just try and drink water.
Like you're doing now.
Yeah. You know, to be honest, I was thinking about having a beer, but I was like, oh, fuck it. It's not what I need.
Why the ladies, they said we should ask you one question, because it seems like, but about your age and moment, they're asking if there's anyone in your life, because they're trying to...
I mean, I've been single for a long time.
Yeah.
I've got like 3 kids. I'm a single father.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not public, but
you
know, everyone needs someone to love. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
But, and you know, to be honest with you, I've never really. I mean, I think maybe people will know by now. I've never done an interview. I've never spoken about anybody that I've been involved with, even when I was married. You know, and I used to kind of try and keep that separate. And I'm glad I did that, because I was saying to one of my friends that, you know, me and my ex-wife are obviously divorced. But if I'd done an Eminem and like cussed her out like, you know, 20 years ago, my son would be looking at me crazy right now. You know what I mean?
In a different way.
Like, why would you do that? So I never did that. And like, yeah, we have our differences like anybody else, but I've never like bashed her in public, and I wouldn't. And that's kind of the reason why I like to keep that type of stuff separate. Okay. Because you never know, man. Like, and it just makes you look crazy.
She might be the same person who'll be looking after you tomorrow.
Well, this is it. You know, and I've only ever spoken about relationships that were public or that were public knowledge. So I've never spoken about things that were not.
Apparently, you once dated Nonhle Thema back then.
Shout out to Nonhle, very beautiful friend of mine. You know, I met Nonhle before she even did Channel O. I think it was the day that she got her Channel O interview.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell this story because it's like this is a true story.
Yeah.
So I was dating a girl who is now married, so I'm not gonna mention her name. She's married to a guy who was a friend of mine, a musician as well.
Okay.
So I wasn't actually dating her, but there was like attraction. So we were living in this house in Santon with Jack. Shout out to UK Jack. So the mansion in Santon that I mentioned in the track, it was like in San. Was it like just near Grayston?
Yeah.
So there was like a bunch of people that would crash. So this girl, she wasn't actually my girlfriend. I don't think we even started dating. We haven't been intimate, but she was there at the house a lot. And you know, sometimes they'd stay over and whatever. So I think I must have mentioned, hey, let's meet up for drinks, like casually. But I actually had asked Nonhle out on a date. So I forgot that it was the same day. So she calls me, Nonhle calls me, and she's like, who's this colored girl? She said, this girl is threatening to do all kinds of crazy shit to me and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, which girl? She's like, your girlfriend. She said she's your girlfriend. I don't have a girlfriend. She's like, yes, you do. She lives at your house. She says you live together. I said, no. And I was like, oh, shit. You mean? And I said her name. She said, yeah, that's what she said her name. I said, that's not my girlfriend. She said, that's not what she said. So I get there, and she was pissed. Nonhle was pissed. She's like, nah, nigga, this is too much. I'm out. This is crazy. And then, you know, the next time I saw her, I was with this girl. So me and this girl went out dating. Yeah. And it was when I went to submit the video. Yeah. And she said, you said to us, your girlfriend. I said, she wasn't at the time, but you know, the girl eventually became my girlfriend and we broke up. And then afterwards, like, you know, Nonhle and I remain friends. We're still friends to this day. She's a very beautiful soul, and she's a person I would have, you know, settled down and married. Yeah.
It's never too late, bro.
I know.
Talking of music, what's your current take on the Botswana hip hop industry?
I think I like one take. I like a lot of guys, and I like the fact that people are more secure. There's more of an identity. Yeah. They asked me a similar question. I did an interview for Pro Kids documentary. Yeah. And they asked me a similar question about what I think about the South African scene. And I think that compared to back in the day, like when I was doing it, there was no Back to the City, there were no hip hop shows, there was nothing. There was no hip hop programs, so to speak, you know. Everything was still foreign in terms of consumption. But now there's more of an identity, you know, in terms of you when you hear rappers from Botswana, you can tell these cats are from Botswana. Before, it was difficult to tell where people were from. You couldn't really, you know, because everybody was trying to sound, they were either trying to sound like they're from SA or from the States. So now it's cool. We have an identity, people are throwing in, they're proud of it, you know. People like Fader Gang, you know, even 10 years ago were actively repping the 267. Yeah. And, you know, certain neighborhoods, and it's good to see, because that's what you want. So I like it. I like where it's going. I like what the young kids are doing, because it's about what the youth are doing. It's not about us old guys. You know, I can still rap, but you can't relate to. It's kind of like how Method Man can still rap, but he's in his 50s. Yeah. So it's difficult to connect with. You know, a demographic that's basically under 25 or 16 to 25, because as much as they know that he's Method Man, he's their dad's age or almost their grandfather's age. So there's a disconnect there.
All right, because last time we were here, like you shared your sentiments towards the local hip hop industry. Mentioned that like a lot of kids are ladies in the scene, they expect to be spoon fed, and a lot of them didn't take it well.
They never do, but you know, I never hold my tongue. And imagine, it's the spoon-fed lazy niggas that get pissed off. The guys that's out hustling never get pissed off by stuff like that. People who are actually doing it will not be offended by what I'm saying. People who are not doing it and who want handouts are gonna get pissed off because I touched the nerve. But like I said, you cannot have a hip-hop thingy where people, imagine if American hip-hop has said, oh, we're waiting for a grant or the government to do this, that, the other, third. The whole point of hip-hop is you're supposed to do it yourself. You're supposed to innovate. You're supposed to make something out of nothing. You know? You're not supposed to be waiting for somebody to help you. Yes, if you get help, but that can't be the reason why. Some people, what I'm saying was, you can't say things like, if only I had this, then I would do that. People who say that are never going to amount to shit. Because if you really wanted to do something or be something, you start. and then things would come. But you have to make that initial step, you know? It's like the documentary. If I sat on my ass waiting for people to give me money to make it, there'll be no movie. I had to just do it myself. And then as I kept going, things started to happen. You know what I mean? Like, you have to take the first step, then the path shows itself. You know, you can't say, oh, I'm gonna wait till I can see the road to success. You don't, there is no road. You know, you don't, it's not like you make a decision and then all of a sudden the whole thing lights up and it guides you. You don't, you just have to go. And then I think the universe and God kind of takes over.
They'll take over.
But that's when you've actually made the commitment that you're gonna do it. You can't be sitting at home wishing and wanting and then expect things to happen. You have to get out there and get up and do something. Okay.
I always say this to my kids. I'm like, I know you rush into the airport and stuff like that, but for you, like this time around, Stagga is to leave the country.
I do.
So before we go, like I see you're about to release your mixtape, the Staggalicious.
Yeah. So I did a partnership with VIB. Shout out to my man Leroy. Yeah. Leroy is doing some big things with VIB. Leroy actually was an engineer on my second album, which I never released. So I've known Leroy for almost 20 years now. And, you know, he's a very solid guy, very intelligent, and he, like, it's amazing. He's got, like, a business model of something which most people thought didn't work. I was in Jamaica last year, and we were talking to went to Buju Banton's house through my guy, Perry. Shout out to Perry in Jamaica. And the first thing Buju said was, wanna try if I bring back ringtone again? And he's like, ringtone? Who's doing ringtones? And he says, ringtone, come back again, Africa. And I was like, yeah, like people still buy CDs out there.
Yeah.
And he was like, Botswana, that's one country I've always wanted to go to, but no one's ever invited me.
Yeah.
But he found it funny that like ringtones still work. And a lot of people, when you tell them, especially people from England and America, they're like, ringtones? Who still does ringtones?
Yeah.
Leroy does, bro, in 18 fucking countries. And a lot of people download them. You know, like he showed me the numbers.
What's that, bunch?
Like the numbers are serious, the ringtone numbers. So, So, you know, it started out by him saying to me, look, we need to put your music on our platform.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's basically how it started. And I need to actually send them. When I go to the airport, I'm going to sit down and send the rest of them. But I need to send them all of the stuff before I get back. But, you know, yeah, it's a great model because they basically take a loop of your track. And, you know, it's a way that you can monetize content. So I started to reach out to people that I knew, like Goofy, and speak to them about getting their catalog and uploading it onto the platform. Then I reached out to my man Perry in Jamaica. That's how I went to Buju's house, Sizzler, you know, met my man Adrian, Kareem, DJ Kareem. And, you know, we're reaching out to people, and there's a huge deal that we just did that I'm not gonna mention, that he will probably, he will do it once it's all wrapped up. But that's probably what I'm most proud of that I did in the last couple of years, even more than the documentary, because it's historic. It's something that's never been done before.
So it doesn't mean that you also have your music on the online streaming platforms?
Oh yeah. And like, in terms of what we did in terms of with Libre, with this thing that we just literally just did this, like, it just got confirmed a couple of days ago. It will be historic. It will be a music content deal that's never been done by an African aggregator before. You know, you know, it took 18 months to do it.
Yeah.
And everything that's really great takes time.
Yeah, it takes time because it's all nature.
Yeah.
Stagga, bro.
It
was nice having you.
Thank you, man. And when I come back, when I come back,